start with. Okay, today we have a little bit of news that could be of interest to us. We've already had RICS prices out this evening, not a very good figure at all. You can see decline of minus 32%. That's not actually how far house prices have fallen, but that's just on the RICS scale, the change in the value percentage wise. But we have coming out, let's just make sure what time is this on. This is on my time, so at 9:30 UK time we have CPI, we have core CPI, HPI and RPI from the UK. Those three really aren't going to make a huge amount of difference to what we're doing. It is going to be the inflation figure at expected to be better than previous, i.e. in line, falling back into line from 3.1% to 2.9%. Anything greater than 2.9%, if we are still sticking at around 3%, I would consider that not such good news, and we could well see cable falling off on the back of it. However, if we do see an improved figure, then sterling may well get a little bit of a push back up to the upside. However, the current channels we're sitting in, I don't think will be hugely tested by these figures. I don't think they're really valid enough or large enough figures to give us the momentum that possibly one would think. Moving into around 10 o'clock UK time, we come to the German ZU economic sentiment, and you can see this again. They're expecting a negative sentiment, moving from 14 down to 10.7. That's a decrease. Anything better than 10.7 towards the 14 mark would be good for the euro. Anything below 10.7, we'll see a possible slide coming in on the euro dollar. Further from that, we also have at 10 the industrial production month on month from the whole eurozone. That's expected to be an increase, and of course, as you can see, further ZU economic climate from the whole of the euro as well. That figure really doesn't make too much difference because obviously Germany is the leading economy from the euro, and that will be the most important figure coming out. Coming into this afternoon, we have retail sales at 1:30. That we will have to be in for, so most likely the afternoon session will start at 1 o'clock, and that will really be all the news we're looking at today that could interest us. So CPI first off, followed by German economic sentiment. Okay, so let's move over and have a quick look at our dollar Swiss. As always, we'll start with her. Now, dollar Swiss yesterday, sadly, pushed through that 70 level and took out the position I took yesterday morning. 1% loss, but as things stand, I still maintain my position on dollar Swiss, the original feeder position from 10070. I still maintain that position, and I will continue to do so, purely because we are down at these levels, and technically, as we sit and bounce off, as you can probably see here, this parity level 1.00, I remain bullish on this pair for the longer term. So as we remain above this 1.00 level, I will remain long, and I will remain looking for further add-ons to this position. Okay, as it stands, I think John's absolutely right. If there is a small pullback now towards that parity level again, then there may well be an opportunity to start looking for further add-ons down here with smaller stop losses. Parity will always react, not as well, will always give a reaction point, i.e. a good bounce off it. Normally you're looking at 200-300 points before retests. On this occasion, we may well have to look for a possible entry down on 1.00 level, bang on, or 005, and just look to run it up towards that daily pivot. Be a slightly shorter term trade, or you could build it into a longer term trade, depending on how you feel about this position. Aussie dollar did come up towards the 70 level. Sadly, however, came up, just faded off it, and as you can see, is coming back down to this lower support at 93.20. So I'm not getting too excited by short positions at this moment in time, but we are now into this zone on the daily chart where we have to be interested in possible shorts longer term coming in. By longer term, we mean a play back down towards 89.80, monthly pivot zone, before further rises pushing back up to test the highs. What we'd like to see here is clear consolidation building between these two levels, between 93.20 and 93.70, and start to see the 4-hourly 20 and 4-hourly 50 catch up with this pair before, i.e. example, you'd like to see your 4-hourly 20 moving up towards this 93.20, your 4-hourly 50 is slowly catching up, and then as they've both caught up, that is when the moving averages start to give you the impression, or start to look like they're about to turn, and then we'll be looking for an entry off the highs, previous highs, once we've got confirmation of a few resistance points here. Then I'll be looking for possible short plays to come in. I don't think I'm going to get that today, but I do think we are now going to be building towards this possible resistance and the potential of a longer term short building back down towards these levels. So good signs here that she's building up into this zone. It's just a question now of waiting for her to get to the right position, allow the MAs to catch up so we have plenty of room to the south, and then look for our entry. Dollar CAD looks to have found a little bit of support off 102.50 or 102.60 yesterday, and as you can see, the daily candle has opened up green. Don't think that really has any indication of where she's going to go, because on this chart, as you can probably see, we remain in a downward trend. The question from here, you can see after the initial 3 waves on dollar CAD, we're really just actually consolidating at the moment. Although we're breaking the ranges, these are not big lunges, they are very, very slow moves, which suggests momentum is going to start to turn at some point, and we're going to see the buyers coming back in, pushing this back up towards 106.75 at some point. Question now for us is, when are we going to get that? Personally, I am looking for this 102.50 or 102 below. These two levels are important to me, obviously as previous lows and previous support and resistance levels. If we start seeing support coming in off those, then I will be looking for potential trades to start building in to the upside to play back up towards 106.75. Obviously the daily chart will show you exactly why. We are stuck in this current range. Yes, she may well come down and test 101.50. I'm not really expecting that, but if we do, I'll look for a possible position off that level. Okay, it's just a question now of what she does, where does she decides to go over the next couple of days, and we'll be aware and keep an eye on potential entries coming in to be able to play back up to the upside. Okay, over to euro dollar and cable. Let's start with cable. Cable, first thing, had a major silver cross, as you can probably see to the south, and on the hourly chart there was a perfect little entry there. You can see building up, consolidating. Sadly, I just wasn't quite able to get in on that, because as I came in, she was just popping through this 153.90 level, and to be honest, I would have preferred to hit her off the 4-hourly 20 at 54.12 or 54.10, and be short with a very tight stop on something like that. As it stands now, cable is coming back to the lows of our channel, and I'm looking at a potential entry at around 45 to play up towards the highs at 154.80. Okay, so there is potential here coming in on cable. Order somewhere around 153.45 to play back up to the upside. Over to euro dollar. Euro dollar is up at the peak of the range now, starting to get close to the order level, and if we just zoom in on this, you can see coming up, just holding on to this daily 50 MA at the moment, and what I really need to see is just a little move to pop up, take my order at 10, and then a very quick reversal pulling us back down towards these low levels at 127.37. However, before the news, if I haven't been kicked in, so before this German ZU economic sentiment, if I haven't been kicked in, I will be removing my order, just from the point of view that I am very, very close to this level now, and news could well push it through 50-60 points and then reverse. Okay, so at the moment I just have to be aware of that, and I have to be very, very careful about trying to hold on to something ahead of the news when my entry is so close. With regards to fresh cross, just zoom out. as you can see, Matt, as of late, these 4-hourly silver of golden crosses have not been holding up that well. I think, as you can see from these moving averages, very, very scrappy, stuck in the dailies, the 4-hourlies, the hourly, all stuck within a 200-point range. It could well be significant, but at the moment stuck in this range, and with our daily chart so clearly suggesting that euro dollar on the whole is in a southward trend, it makes me believe, in fact that chart's too unclear, it makes me believe by looking at this chart that we are just up at the upper resistance, and with the daily 50 and 20 in the correct order, monthly pivot, weekly pivot in the correct order, that we will see further moves to test to the south today. Okay, so sterling, first thing, I'm watching her coming back down towards this level and looking for a possible entry to go long of 45 to build up towards the highs at 154.80. Okay.